All right, Ambush. Today we are joined by a singer, a song, a writer who has been making waves once again. You may know her for her work. She's been working at this music industry game for quite a while, a few different renditions, but of course, she had to take some time to do some family stuff, raise a little bit of that life, and since 2019, things have sort of been kicking back up here for our guest, and we're here to dive into that today with our guest, Sammi Morelli. How's it going, Sammi?
Hi, it's so good. How are you, Colton?
Ooh, I'm having a fantastic day, and after hearing that energy, even better. I'm excited. All right, so of course, like I mentioned, we're here to talk a little bit about some new music that has come our way, and of course, you have a new single that recently came out called Love Away. But before I get into that, I'd love to lay a little bit of a foundation because, like I mentioned, you had a little bit of time there, raising some family, having a child, but then you just sort of jump back into the music game there in 2019. But of course, 2020, as with all of artists, with all of us, we sort of hit this little bit of a brick wall that sort of made things kind of difficult. So as an artist who's sort of trying to make that next push into your next era, having to adapt like that right away, sort of how did you go about trying to make sure that you were making the most of everything?
Oh, that's such a great question. Yeah, it's funny because while you're busy making plans, the universe just comes in and is like, well, nope, you're doing something else right now. So it's been interesting, this past kind of couple years, even 3 years personally for me, it's been such an amazing, growing time period where not only I became a mom, but also I've had this time to reevaluate who I am as a person and as an artist, and and really get to the core of what I want to do and what I really want to project to the world. So I've been doing a lot of different kind of projects over the years, top lining, EDM, all kinds of stuff. And it's been really fun to, dip my toe into different things. But I've really been working hard on these core songs for my project that they've finally come together. And it's funny because you'd think, with a global pandemic, things would just kind of fall apart. But really for me, the musical stuff started really coming together during this time where we kind of had a moment to focus, really. So it's been good.
So because the world's slowed down a little bit, it gave you some breathing room to actually put the pen to paper.
1000%. Yeah. It's funny when all of those distractions of the world are taken away, what you're left sitting with. Not only, it's major life explorations and all of that stuff, but you really, get to the core of the meat and potatoes of what you're talking about and what you want to say. So it's been a blessing in disguise for sure.
Most definitely. And you also mentioned the ability to do top lines and otherwise too. And as an artist who has explored various genres, anyone who has listened to your music, what is it like to sort of have that specific opportunity, and exactly how did that come about?
Yeah, top lining. Funny, it's just the internet, being the internet. As an artist, even just starting out, way back when I did, it was, all about community building and kind of connecting with different artists and saying oh my God, I'm a huge fan. Can we work together kind of thing? And it really is, for me, those doors open when I started not being afraid to reach out and to connect and to say what I wanted to say and be hey, I'm going to shoot my shot. And if it works, awesome. If it doesn't, it's fine. But you can't be afraid to just go for it because, it paid off for me. It's been great and really fun.
Well, and that's just it, is you never know what the outcome's going to be unless you take the chance. And of course, you took the chance and it ended up going pretty well for you, I must say, because one song has ended up turning into quite a few here.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome.
Definitely. A big fan of EDM myself too. So to hear that sort of evolution and that exploration made me very excited to sort of dive into. So when it comes to EDM, in terms to like compared to writing for yourself, is there like a different way that you're trying to write these lyrics or like a different energy you're trying to capture? How do you go about? What's the difference in the process here?
Yeah. You know what? It's so great. Because as a songwriter, I love having variety and I love having different kinds of things to sink my teeth into. So, with EDM, like it really is totally different depending on the song. Like it can be so many different ways. Like a lot of times I'll write to a track that's already been written. And so I kind of just like take in the feeling and the vibe of the song and kind of just like write what I'm feeling, or it's a concept, or, everyone's writing a theme, or it could just be like one sample that kind of sets off the top line and then they kind of build it around. So it's so much fun to just take each project as it comes and depends on the co-writers I'm working with too. It could just come up in a Skype session, right? Or, like something could be bounced around for months in emails, but we make it work. And it's so fun to see, where it starts from the beginning to the end. It's good.
Interesting. Definitely gives you a different aspect, a different view of the music industry for sure, I'm guessing.
No doubt. Yeah. It's so funny too, because you could be writing one top line to like a certain track and then like that DJ might not necessarily, use that or whatever. So you end up pitching it to different ones and it completely becomes a different song by the end of it. It's so wild. I love this industry.
It's kind of like how you mentioned where like you sit down and you take time to do that, where some people will have songs that they've sat on and they'll take a line from a different song from something they wrote years ago where maybe the whole thing doesn't fit, but you've got a line or two where it's like, that's gold. I need to take it somewhere, right?
1000%. Oh my God, that's full on happened for me for a few songs.
Oh, fantastic. So of course we mentioned that you have recently released a new single here with the track Love Away, which a little bit of a pop track with a little bit of that R&B vibe mixed into it here. So I would love to dive into this song because it's definitely got like this soft feel, but it's definitely got a strong presence and meaning inside of the lyrics. So what was sort of the inspiration? Take us behind this track.
Yeah, definitely. So with Love Away, it was kind of one of the first songs that I started writing when I decided to kind of do it all myself. Like a few years ago, I was just kind of like, you know what? I really want to, feel more empowered and like start, writing my own demos and like do everything myself. Because before that, a lot of it was just me, co-writing and working and relying on other people to kind of help me bring my visions to life. So this was actually one of the first songs that I demoed and wrote completely like by myself. And that was several years ago. So it's kind of been on the back burner since then. But yeah, I've always like really believed in this song and really wanted to make it, what I heard in the demo. So I ended up teaming with this amazing producer, Nathan Chu, who's an artist that goes by the name Wafy. And, collaboratively, we just had this like magic that, I don't know, like it just, he heard the demo. It was like so crappy. Like I did not do a great job, but it was enough for him to be like, oh, okay, this is great. And he kind of like helped build it up from there and smoothed it out. And yeah, so that on the production side and musical vibes, that was kind of how everything came to be. And then writing wise for the lyrics, it was also at a time where I was trying to become more of a master of my own destiny, essentially. So, not only was I going forth, trying to write more on my own and trying to be more independent with that. But also, I was like, I need to stand up for myself more. I need to stand in my own truth. And, when I see stuff that bothers me or, seeing untruths happening, I need to be brave enough to call it out. So that was kind of a time for me where I was like trying to psych myself up a little bit and say like, no, I'm not crazy. Like I know what was said, and it's kind of like it's like an oomph of like, you got to stand in your own power. You can't like let somebody walk all over you. So that was like my little ode to that. Yeah.
Hey, it's eventually you have to put your own foot down too, right? Because if you let someone walk all over you, they see what they can get away with, and can I take it a little further? Can I take it a little further? Oh, well, let's see how far this goes, right?
1000%. And like I wrote the song to be kind of about a romantic relationship, but it really could be about any kind of relationship where you're seeing, this injustice happening, or you're seeing, you're feeling hurt or betrayed, and you're like able to call it out, and you're able to know that like, no, I'm good. Like, that's you, bud. So yes, that's the Love Away in a nutshell.
Hey, take back some of your own power, right?
Exactly it.
Hey, I love it. I love that energy for sure, because it's like we mentioned, there's going to be those people who are going to try and walk all over you. And it's important to not only just inside of your own career, like you mentioned, and I love how the two things sort of just combine in this one song. So taking control of your career, less reliant on everybody else, making sure that you have a hand in your own future, and then also just making sure that, okay, well, I have to practice what I preach here.
1000%.
Fantastic. So, of course, with this track, you released a little bit of a visualizer with it, where it's like, it's very like simple, yet like sort of sensual in a way, where it's like, it's very like, just you with like a blue light, just sort of sitting there and just like posing and otherwise. And it's like, one question that I had was like, it looks great.
Thanks.
But for 3 minutes, it's just like, what were the thoughts going through your head as you're sitting there? Like, did you have like a screen that you could like see what you looked like during this process? Or you're just going for it? Just like, okay, let's just,
yeah. No, thankfully, it's just a loop. It's just a little loop. So I only had to do that for maybe like a couple minutes, and then I picked like the best one and looped that. But yeah, it's so cool because like Spotify has the visual components now for the singles. So I was like, okay, what am I going to create for this? And I wanted to do something super vibey. So fun behind the scenes story. That visualizer is me sitting against my wall, lighting some smoke cleansing herbs and playing with lasers with my iPhone. So DIY.
The things you can do from home, hey?
Good. If anything, with the last 2 years has taught us is that we can do so much from home.
Mm-hmm. You can do your own demos. You can make your own visualizers, all these different wonderful things.
It's true. I mean, we are actually going to be doing a real music video, so don't you worry. But
okay.
I'm very much not going to be doing that from home.
Okay, so without giving away too many of the secrets, what do you have planned for the actual MV?
No, I can't give away too much, but I'm very excited. We're working with an amazing French director, Leah Dean Cohen, and yeah, it's going to be unexpected. I will say that.
Okay. Well, it's that makes me excited for sure. I'm definitely interested to see what comes our way here then.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right. So of course, you mentioned that's one thing that the future holds. Is there? We got Catastrophe earlier this year. That's a little bit more of the EDM side. Yeah. Was there any more Sammi Morelli true tracks where it's just Sammi Morelli?
1000%. Next year is going to be, I'm going to be like, boo, pew, pew, with all the singles. I'm so excited. Like, I've been sitting on these songs for so long, and like, I don't, like, this is just a tape. Like, I can't even, I'm so excited for the songs coming out next year. Like, it's going to be so good. And live shows and more music videos, and yeah, I'm very excited. So make sure you're following the Spotify and the YouTube and all that, because it's coming at you.
Awesome. And they definitely should do that. You mentioned the potential of the return to live. Is there any dates that are already worked out and secured, or is that something that's still held inside the future?
Still held inside the future, but we will definitely be sharing those details as soon as possible.
Okay. And of course, it's been a little while since you've probably been able to rock the stage. So are you planning on adding a little bit to the stage show? Or are you maybe going to add a couple of the EDM tracks? What's sort of the vibe there?
You never know. I'm really excited. Like I'm definitely starting to think about what the live show is going to be like and design it to be really freaking cool and a fun experience when you go out. Cause I don't want it to be just like me up there singing, which is awesome. But at the same time, I definitely want to, pull people into a narrative and like really give some cool visuals. So, and then yes, rock their faces off with an amazing band. So yes.
All right. Well, of course.
Fans are in motion.
Oh, well, that's good. And of course, you mentioned if the fans, the listeners want to stay up to date, they should definitely go ahead and follow you. Where can they go to do exactly that?
Heck yeah. So all you do is search Sammi Morelli, Sammi with an I, on Google. And I'm on literally all of the things. We've got Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, the Facebooks, the Twitters, all of the things. So whichever platform you prefer, find me and we can be friends.
One of them, all of them, go ahead, be friendly, reach out.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. And of course, I'll also have links so that you can do that to the description in this show here today as well. Sammi, I've had a blast chatting here so far. I have one last question. Are you ready for it?
Sure.
All right. So we've talked about your growth over the last 2 years as an artist, diving into the EDM world, building some more of your own music, getting to this new single, Love Away. So what I would like to know now is, over this period of the last 2 years here, how has this time helped you grow as a person, or what has it taught you about yourself?
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So the last 2 years, funny enough, like almost to like on November 27th, I will have been a mom for exactly 2 years. So that is a huge, anyone who's become a parent knows that that is a major game changer in anyone's life. It has completely rocked my world. I've gone through like major ego death and really like realized like what is actually important in life. And it's so amazing to have that time to be able to reevaluate and stuff, amid the sleep deprivation and all of that stuff. Like it is, what a gift. Like it just, what have I discovered about myself though? It's, you're so much more powerful than you think, I think that's one of the main themes that I've kind of really honed in on over the past few years, is that really like so much power is within you, that, you might be wanting to look for other things for answers or whatever, but really like if you're able to sit with yourself and truly look at who you are and like what you can do, my God, it's endless. Like we are infinite beings. And yeah, we have the ability to tap into that. So that's one of the major takeaways of the last 2 years for me. And that love is the answer.
I like that. I like hearing that for sure too. Definitely. I love to believe that love is the answer as well. And of course, it's almost that power thing you mentioned. It's kind of like The Secret, how they say, where it's like you can create your own future. It's just a matter of realizing that you can create your own future.
1,000%. Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, 1,000%. I am excited to hear and to see what the future brings for you. Sammi, I want to thank you so very much for joining me here today on the DTP.
It's been so great chatting. Thank you so much for having me.